So what we're going to do, I'm just lightening up the line work a little bit on this background. And we'll be doing Mr. Hedgehog last. So I'm just going to get a layer on these leaves, really. If they don't roll away. Pencils, please. Right, so I'm just going to start by putting a layer on these leaves. And they're just yellows, oranges, browns, lovely autumnal colours. So we'll get on and we will see how we go. I think I'm going to start on the yellow leaves mostly. So we have got one behind him here, and I'm just going to put really light layers on these leaves, more or less, so I can see where the colours of each are. Then I can go and put the detail on afterwards. So we've got a really, really bright yellow one there. We have got the top of this one is there's a little bit of yellow on the top of this one. So put that in there. This one here is very yellow, and I want to get this in because obviously all these spikes and everything are going to be coming over the leaves because he's on top of the leaves. And this doesn't have to be super neat because these leaves are a little bit sort of out of focus here, so I'm just initially blocking them in. Just a really rough layer on all the different coloured this is curled over here. So all the different yellows and things we've got going on. And this great big leaf here is mostly yellow, so that's all gonna get that in yellow as well. I'm just using really light pressure just to get a layer of pencil covering these leaves. Now really I ought to have put some masking tape. I might actually do that in a second because it doesn't actually come up as far as that, so I'll do that in a second. We'll just get a layer on here so we don't lose. It's like a bit of a map so that we don't lose where we're going. So, okay, that one's yellow. Over this side, we've got this big one here is yellow. So we'll get that mapped in there. And if all else fails, I'll do this as a speed paint. This one here is also yellow. This one is a yellowy orange, but we'll get the initial layer down. And we've got, where are we? Here, a little bit of yellow going on there. And I think that that might be it. For, oh no, here, there's one here as well. I think as far as the yellow goes, that is possibly it. And I'm just going to put some masking tape across the top there because this picture, actually, we are only going to come to about there with that. So I'll just get that masked off. And same down the bottom, we are only coming to about there. So that will just give us a slightly neater edge. Great. Okay. Fab. Okay, so next I think we will get some of the oranges mapped in. So I'm just going to do the same thing again. I'm just going to go around and map in where these orangey colour leaves are, so then at least we'll be able to easily see where we are. I know it looks quite complicated, but it's really not. This one is an orange colour as well. Not sure why that's wobbling about so much. So we've got that one there. We have got, those are more browny colours. I think this one, we can put this one in orange. Okay, and the top of this one is orange. So we'll get that blocked in, and we'll put the other colours on top of that in a moment. And this one here is quite light. It's got a little bit of orange on the top there, so we'll just put that in there. And this one has got some orange going on under there. Like I said, this is just kind of a map really, so that we can easily identify the leaves. All of this is an orangey colour. Back here. Like so. And this one is orange. And over this side, I think most of this is orange actually, with varying browns. So we'll just get it all blocked in orange, because that's going to be our underlayer anyway. And that bottom one, yeah, that's orange as well. Yep. Okay, coming up this side, that's a more browny colour. That one there, that one there, could be an orange. And this one here. And this one here. Right, so that's just making it a bit easier to see where the oranges are going to go. Now we've got some dark shapes between the leaves, obviously, to give them some shadow. So I'm just going to use the walnut brown. I'm going to come in now and just put some dark shadows where I can see those between these leaves. So I'm just going to come in with the walnut brown, put some of these dark shadows in, again using light pressure. This is just our first layer. So this is our little map that we're putting in here. So we've got a shadow going on under the edge of that curl there. And we've got some shadow here, a little bit there, that's shadow there, a little bit between there, and we'll work down this side, I think. So under this big leaf edge, we've got a bit of shadow going on there, and that little area there, and under here we've got quite a lot of shadow going on there, and that kind of, there's kind of a leaf here that kind of is giving off that kind of shape, and then we've got another one that's there, and then all of this is shadow, so we'll get that in there. We've got that shape there, so this is one leaf here, this is another leaf, there's a little bit of shadow there, and there's a shadow there, and then coming down under this big leaf. Oh, I missed a bit there, that's actually part of that leaf there, so let's just get that in. It's all one big leaf there, so I'll just get that dropped in, and then we have got shadow that comes under there, and then it comes off to the side there. We can't see that bit there. That bit there is okay. We have got some that come around here, so we'll just get some under the, behind the hedgehog there. That's quite light. And again, some will be down here under his little fluffy bottom. We'll just get some shadow in there, because we want to be able to work over the top of that, so that's why we're putting this all in now. Okay, we've got a very, very dark area here, and it kind of comes up into there like that, and continues around kind of to there, and we've got a bit of shadowing going between those two, and some between those two, and just there like that. And now working our way up this side, we have got some dark marks on this leaf, so I'm just going to put some kind of random dark marks, because obviously these are crumpled up kind of leaves going on here. So we've got dark shadows here, a little bit there, some here, some here, some around the edge of this leaf, down here, and then some going on this leaf here, and where are we? This area here is quite dark. Dark area in there, and then this is the top of his little head. It's not here, it's here, and there is some dark shadow in behind there, so I'm just going to put some in like so. Okay, so we'll look at the areas that we haven't got any colour on at the moment, and just have a look at the picture and see what colours they are, and they are quite light. So I'm going to come in with the cream and just look at your picture, and I'm checking the reference photo, that should have been dark, that little section there, so we'll put that in a minute. But this comes up here, this light colour comes right up there. A little bit on that one there. And okay, what other areas? So just look around. We've got this area here, which is fairly light, so we're going to put that in. And working back up here, we've got the edge of this one. It's fairly light, so we're going to put that in there. And that in there. And then I think that is possibly it for the light colours. Although I'm just going to add some to the bottom of this leaf here, because that is quite a large light area on that yellow leaf. So I'm just going to map that in. I really hope that's not my doggy barking. So now we've done the yellows, we've done the oranges, we've done some of the shadowing, and now we want to get in some of a slightly more reddy orange. Now for that I'm using, I think this is sanguine, yeah, sanguine. So I'm going to just come in and looking at the other areas here, I can see there's some slightly redder looking areas, so I'm going to just pop those in now. So we're just aiming to cover all the paper, sorry. We're aiming to cover the paper up with kind of a map of where our leaves are going to be, and then we can start really honing in, you know, and getting everything a blend, etc, etc. So that's most of the areas. Now these couple of spots that I've left out there should have been orange, so we're going to get those in there, and this one here, and that one there. Now I think that is more or less the area filled. That is more or less the area filled. That is our leaves in, as it were. So now what we've got to do is we need to refine that. So how we're going to do that is we are going to basically begin again. Just work our way around. Now I'm keeping this to 10 pencils. I'm hoping it's going to be enough. This is dark Naples ochre. And this is a darker yellow. So I'm going to get my glassine sheet now, because I don't want to be making everything dirty. And I'm going to start on this one here. And this edge is darker. So now, in circular motion, I am going to add another layer. Now, medium pressure. I'm not aiming to flatten the tooth at this point. You just want to get a nice even kind of layer here. So nice even pressure, and then coming down into this lighter area, we've got a slightly darker area there, so we're going to put that in, and also here. So can you see that's now, if you compare that to the other colours we've put in, that's given us a nice slightly more even coverage. And we're going to do the same thing on this one here. This one is slightly more yellow on the bottom area and different colours on the top, so we're going to concentrate really on the bottom part of this leaf, and we're just going to repeat the process. So circular, medium pressure. Don't worry about the edge of Mr. Hedgehog at the moment, just go up as close to that as you can. And we're going to leave about that much of this one, because we're going to do a mix of colours up there. So again, nice even pressure there. Can you see the difference? Now this one here, I'm sure it is a leaf. It doesn't actually look much like a leaf, but I'm sure it is part of a leaf. I'm just going to get that blocked in there, like so. And just basically you're finding the leaves that we did orange earlier, and we are putting some more colour down onto the initial yellow colour that we put down. I'm going to leave this area here. So like that. And then we've got this one here. I'll add some more to that one. Oh, emergency vehicles. And we are going to actually add some in here, because there is a slight yellow there, so we'll just put that in now. And here there is a slight yellow on top of this orange as well, so I'll add that in there. This one is very yellow, so we'll add that in there. This one has also got a hint of yellow, so we'll add that. So that's our second layer of all the yellow parts, if that makes sense. And that's why I call it a map, because I like to know where I'm going, and by doing it this way it's easy to remember where your layers have gone. And finally this one here, including that cold over part there. We've got a little bit of yellow at the top there, maybe a little bit there. Okay, so that's our second layer of yellow. We're now going to repeat that process with the orange. And I'm going to come in with a slightly stronger orange at first. This is dark cadmium orange, and I'm going to go over the orange leaves that we've done using the darker orange on the darker areas that I can see. Some are most definitely darker, so we're going to come in with the darker area first. So we're going to leave this bottom area. We're going to come over the bottom area later on with the other yellow, orange, sorry. So we're just adding in where we can see darker kind of areas on those orange. I don't know whose dog that is barking. I keep thinking it's Betty, but I don't think it is. So anywhere on the picture you can see the darker orange. And this really doesn't have to be exact. I mean, they're autumn leaves, they're all different colours. We're just roughly following this map of colour that we've got here. So coming back up this side, we are darker here, And we are darker at the bottom here on this one. And moving up, a little bit of dark orange going on there, a little bit of dark orange going on there, just on the top of that one there, and the edge of that one there, and working up, put a little bit in there. A little bit in there, a little bit there, and there, there, and there, and there. Like so. Now the same thing with a light colour. So anywhere we put this light colour, we are now going to go over, same thing, same pressure, adding to the light areas. And then we will start blending everything out in a moment. So anywhere you can see light areas, remove. These areas are lighter. And this area is lighter. Okay, come it back up the top. This area is lighter. Here, this area, so this is our second layer. Okay, working our way down here. Right, so I think that's all our light areas done. Okay, and now back in with the walnut brown, and we're going to reinforce these shadows that we put in earlier. And I missed one, which is kind of here. So this leaf is kind of curled over there. So we are going to put a shadow in there, like that. And now we're going to make these shadows a touch stronger in areas. So just check the picture, see where those dark areas are, and we're going to come in and put those in. So we are under there like that. This is the darkest area here. Let's go back up the top. And this is quite dark. Onto that curl, and then blend it out towards the edge. Part 3, and just continue working your way around, basically putting all the dark areas in, all the light areas in, anywhere you can see shadow, and some shadows are darker than others. We've got this little dark spot here that we forgot to put in. And this is probably the darkest area over this side. We've got a dark area kind of under here, like that, and just on the edge of that one, and then right, so that's all our dark areas in, I think, and we are going to basically repeat the process, but now I'm going to take the lighter orange, which is cadmium orange. So this is the lighter of the oranges, and we're going to repeat the process, but now we're going to be blending. So anywhere you see the lighter orange, okay, we're going to be blending that kind of into areas that we can see on the picture that are slightly more orange. So we've got a little bit, I can see a little bit of orangey colour coming down there. And this, I can see this is orange here. Even though it's a shadow, it's definitely got an orange tinge to it. And up here, I've got orange here. And we are just building up the layers now, is what we're doing. So the more we put on, the less tooth of the paper we'll see, the smoother it will become, and the more like leaves it will look. because it still doesn't at the moment really look like much, but I promise it will. And we're just going to continue to add colour anywhere we think it needs to be. So you can see this is a little bit more orange here, and here, and we're going to work our way around. Adding on the layers, filling in the tooth, and getting everything a little smoother, more leaf-like. And this big one here, we can add some orange. And now we're kind of starting to merge colours together here slightly now, as we're adding this layer, like so. Now this big one here, it's definitely got orange areas at the front here. A little area there. Some down there, here, here, so don't be afraid to go over, you know, colours that you've put down already, because everything is going to be a blend of all colours anyway. So we just want to get the right amount of pigment down so we can start blending all these lovely colours together. So that's what we're aiming for. Now this is a good example here on the sleeve. So we've got all that yellow and light spots and everything down. And now we come in and just add another layer, not all over, but just in spots where I can see it's slightly more orangey looking. Okay, now we're going to come back in with sanguine, which is, if you remember, is the more ready of the colours, and we're now going to just repeat the process, and we're going to keep going. We're just going to keep doing this, layer, 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 using a medium pressure anywhere you can see the ready kind of colours. There's a few spots of red on this leaf here, and take my lighter yellow, which is, I believe, dark cadmium yellow, would you believe? But it is lighter than the other one. The other one, I'll show you here. This is the other one we were using, which was dark Naples ochre. This one is dark cadmium yellow, but it's actually lighter. So we want the lighter of the two. And we're going to come back over these areas where it was lighter. And I'm even going to come down into this light area here. Like so. And anywhere that looks lighter, you see how we're filling up the tooth of the paper now. So you should have something that looks like this. And the last thing we're going to do is come back over with the lighter colour again, adding some of those light spots back in, and then we are going to blend. So then that hopefully will be our autumn leaves done. I am just going to go and check on my dog, because it really does sound like my dog. I don't think it is, even though it sounds like her. I don't believe it is. So I will be back in a second. Okay, so we've got most of our colours down. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a paper stump and I'm going to start blending some of these leaf colours in together. And then once we've done that, we'll add a little bit more detail, not too much, because like I said, these are really, want these to sort of disappear into the background, although we obviously want to know they're leaves. We don't want too much detail on them anyway. So I'm going to start up in this corner, and just in small circular motions, I'm going to start blending these in so we can't see any more of this toned paper. Now these are really inexpensive. You can pick these up on Amazon. I will put the link down below. But really useful for this sort of thing. I mean, if this was pastel, I would just be doing it with my finger, but it's not. It's pencil, and this is pastel matte paper, which grabs the pigment. So we're going to be using a paper stump. I'm not going to talk too much during this process. I'm just going to go around one by one, blending all this in, even the shadows, just smudging it all in because we want it to kind of disappear. So I'll just get on with that now. Put my glasses on, it might help. There we go. Okay. So just circular motions. Firm pressure, but not, we're not aiming to destroy the paper, so you know, not too hard. Now if I wanted these leaves to be part of the main picture and not to be kind of lost in the background, I probably would have used my Zest-It pencil blender, which is a liquid. I do actually have a really early video, so excuse the quality of it, but I do actually have a video of me blending with the Zest-It blender. But I probably would have used that because it would have blended it smooth. You know, it would have been a lot easier to then put lots of fine detail and everything like that on top, but that's not what we're aiming for here. We just want a nice blend, get all the colours blended in together like they would in nature. Merging the colours together, and then we'll reinforce the shadows afterwards. So just aiming to get everything nice and smooth. Can you see the difference? Hopefully you can. I'm not sure how well this camera's picking this up. You can pick these blenders up in packs really cheaply. They also come in different sizes, and a bigger one probably would have been better here, but I don't actually have a bigger one at the moment. I've only got this little one, and the next size up I think I've got somewhere, but this is the one I've got to hand, so I'm just going to use this one. And we just want to blend those all in together with each other. Like so. And just work your way around. There we go. So can you see the difference between this top section and what we've done? I'm hoping you can. And if you ever feel that your paper stump is getting a little bit mucky, if you go over a particularly dark piece like this NC, I've got a dark end there, then you can get these little sandpaper blocks, and I always keep it handy. I mean, they're good for sharpening your pencils as well if you need a particularly sharp point. But if you just rub it on there, it will get rid of all the dark colour, and you can just continue on from there. So there's a little tip for you there. Just going to carry on blending these colours in. There, so that's all we need for now. And then finally, I'm going to come up and I'm just going to reinforce these shadows that we've got in. Now initially we put those in with walnut brown, I do believe. And now I'm going to come in, I think, let me just test this. Yeah, okay. This is Cap and Morton Violet, very good for shadows and things. And I am going to come in and I'm just going to reinforce some of the shadowing and the edges of the leaves. I'm not going to put too much detail in. Some of the leaf veins and things will do with a lighter colour. But there are some areas of this picture that are very, very dark, where the shadows are. So that's what I'm aiming to do now, is just get those put in. So start down here, I think. There is a very, very dark shadow on this leaf here, and it is definitely distinguishing the edge of this leaf. So that is what I want to do. I want to kind of put the edge of the leaf in there and darken that shadow there, and the same here. Just distinguish the edge of that leaf there. Like so. And working our way up here. This here is a leaf. So I just want to reinforce the edge of that leaf now. Now everything's blended out. A little bit sharper, but like I said, we don't want to worry too much because we're not aiming for precision with these leaves. It's just a nice background, really. And this is the edge of it. This is a stem. So that shadow is falling onto this leaf, but these shadows here are in the background. So again, reinforce the leaf shape and just darken that area up. So hopefully you can see how mapping that all out has really helped us to see where we need to put things. Okay, what we got going on here, this is the other edge of the stem of this leaf here, and it kind of comes up there. There's a funny yellow bit there, but I think I'll just darken that area there up. And leave it slightly lighter in the middle. Okay, so that's that one. This one up here, there's a very, very dark shadow just in there. So we'll put that in. And then we've got a shadow where this leaf is on top of this leaf. So this big one is on top of this one. So we're just going to put the shadow in, but we're going to blend it out onto the leaf, as it were. We can always bring our paper stump back in. So just blending that shadow. Can you see? Blending that shadow out like that. Okay, so working our way up the top here, we've got a dark shadow in here. And again, this leaf is, this is a curled leaf here, so I'm going to put this slight shadow on the top to show that it's curled over there. And we'll put some lightness on there as well to show that that is curled over. Now this is quite a zigzag leaf that we've lost as we've been putting the colour in, so I'm just going to add just a little bit of an edge on the top of that, on the lower edge, sorry, of that leaf there, just to give it its leafy kind of shape back. Okay, we've got some quite dark shadows where it goes off the page at the top there, so I won't worry too much. Just kind of, I mean, some of these things you can't actually see what they are, they're just a jumble of leaves, but where we can see, we will get those put in there. And we've got this leaf here, which has got this lovely crumpled kind of edge. And again, we just blur the shadow out there. Like so. And we've got the curled edge of the leaf here, so again we'll darken right under the curled edge like that, and then we'll bring it down, lightening the pressure as you go, so that we're blending the shadow of that curled edge out. And again, we'll come and reinforce this with a little bit more colour in a minute. So that's the curled edge there. It's like a little half moon there. And this is the stem of a leaf that's going off the page. So we can reinforce that and just add a little bit of shadow. I mean, there would be a leaf here, so a little bit of shadow under the stem there. And I think, yeah, this is another leaf that's it's laying on, but it's got shadow kind of underneath. So again, I'll blend that out like that. Up here we've got quite a big shadow going on. This leaf here that the hedgehog's actually over, this leaf actually comes up like that. So we've got dark shadow here behind the hedgehog, and we've got quite dark shadow behind the leaf there. So don't be afraid to go over the colour you've already put down. Like I said, that was just really a map to see where we're going to go. So that's those shadows in. Okay, we've got this leaf with this dark mark here. I'm just going to fuzz that out on this edge because this one is over this one. And there's quite a distinct edge on this one here. So all this darkness is behind the hedgehog. I'm not obviously going to put his fur on top of that. Or his spikes, should I say fur? Should I say fur? Okay, and just bring that shadow out slightly. And that leaf there has got some kind of damage and crumples to it, so we'll add that there. And this is, I think this is meant to be a hole in the leaf here. And that is the edge of that leaf there. It comes right down. So that is obviously over the top of these ones here. So this is where we want to add the shadow. So just blurring it out. There, like that. And this is a curled leaf. So we've got that curled edge. This is all really dark shadow here. So darken all that up. Like so. Okay. Now this one here, I'm trying to see where I am on the picture. So we've got this one here with this lovely zigzag edge. It's almost like an oak leaf kind of shape. So we're really going to darken that up so that that stands out because it's on the top of all the others. So blend that shadow out again there like that. And then we've got this one here and this one here. Now this is another, this leaf here is another kind of like that, and it's on top of this one. So darken the edge that's nearest to the leaf and then fade it out on the top of that one, and there's quite a bit of dark shadow going on there. Okay, so can you see the difference? Now we're starting to distinguish between the leaves, and when we put the detail of the leaves on, it'll look really good. So where are we? Here we've got quite a dark shadow coming down here And this, got the edge of this leaf here, which is not quite as ziggy-zaggy as the other side, a little bit kind of like that. And then we've got shadow coming onto this leaf here. There. And this is kind of a more of a light shadow there. This leaf again is sitting on top, so we've got dark shadow here. We have got a lovely kind of ziggy edge there, and we've got a light shadow under that kind of section there. Okay, moving down to this part, we have got this leaf here, which is obviously sitting on top of that other one there, so we'll just blend that shadow out there, and we'll blend this edge out here. This one we can't see because it's gone off the edge of the page. And then coming down to this lovely big leaf here, we have got a nice wavy edge on there, so I'll get that in. Fading it upwards like so. And then got a very, very dark area down here. This is a stem of a leaf that you can't see under there, and all this area, apart from this very corner, is really dark. So as dark as you can there, fading into that lighter area there. It obviously is on top of this leaf down here, and we have got some holes and things going on this little leaf. And move my picture so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, now down the bottom here, we have got most of the darkness under the hedgehog spikes. Now obviously we've got to put the spikes in, so we may have to come back and add more detail to this afterwards, but that is where most of the darkness is. There's a few dark spots on these leaves here, and we want to continue this darkness right the way around really, and we can add some of this in. Not so much here, it's all down this area. So I'm going to come down here, just going to reinforce this leaf on top, and we're going to add a little bit of shadow fading out onto the top of this leaf. Like so. This leaf has got a big hole in it as well, so just kind of give it a bit of a hole there. I'm not sure what this thing is here. I mean, it's obviously a leaf, but it's a very odd shape, isn't it? We'll put a little bit of a shadow so it looks more like a leaf than a little square object. A bit more of a shadow there like that. Okay, and I think that is more or less done for the shadows. So now now we don't want to blur all this out, just the edges where it's kind of laying on top of other leaves, where we kind of faded it out. So Where can I show you? So kind of here, we've got this very distinct shadow where this leaf is here, but then it's on top of this one. So we want darkness, but we don't want it black like this. So fade it out. Same up here, see? Just want to kind of fade it out, that shadow. Like that. So we want the strong shadows to stay strong, and then we just want to fade out where they're kind of overlapping, really. So anywhere we've got that overlap shadow, I just want to blend that in a bit more, make it look a bit less harsh. Okay. Great. Okay, so finally we need to come in with our light, which I've got ivory ivory number 103, and now we want to just reinforce the lights. So anywhere where the leaves are curled and the light is hitting, we just want to blend a little bit more light into those areas to help to lift them a little bit. So this leaf is fairly light here, so I'm gonna just reinforce the lights in areas where I think it needs it. So this leaf here is curled, so right down the centre we're going to add a little bit of light, and that will help give the illusion that that leaf is curled over. Same with this one here, and this one is curled as well, so it just helps the impression that that's curled over. So anywhere you can see light that needs to be a bit lighter since we've blended it, we will add back in. We've got some up here. This stem here was quite light, and I don't know why that area was so light, but it is in the picture. Coming down here, we've got this leaf here. It's got some light patches, although I think that's probably just where it's a pale leaf more than anything. So I'll just add some lights in there. This one here, Yeah, a little bit on this here. This one here. I mean, these dry autumn leaves, they do, when they first fall, they do have a bit of a shine to them, don't they? And this one here has got a line of light coming down there, so that must be slightly curved over as well. This one here is fairly light. Here and just here. Even this top corner is kind of going off the page a little bit there. And that's it really, that's all we really need to do. Anywhere you think needs lightening up a little bit, add a little bit of light. And then a light, I'm going to give it a light blend with my paper stump. I'm just going to clean the end of that off because obviously this is a light colour. So I'm just going to give the light areas a little bit of a really light blend. Really light blend. And then apart from some little markings that we need to put on, that is the background more or less finished, apart from a few little bits we might adjust as we put our Mr. Hedgehog on. But for now, I think we're going to call that done. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So now I'm just going to take, this is, what is this? Oh, raw umber, of course it is. And I'm going to add very gently some markings. Now, they haven't all got markings, but it's not going to hurt to put some in. So I just want to give an indication really of the veins that will be going on. On these leaves, and that's just really to help people's brains to kind of understand that that's what they are. But I mean, I can tell they're leaves, but so there's just a few that have got these classic kind of leaf markings on. This one's going this way, like so. We've got kind of a bit of a line going on. This one has got some down here. So not too dark, because like I say, this is just meant to be kind of a not too sharp background, so we don't want to put it in too dark. Just really an indication. This is the other one that's got quite a few markings on. So this one here, like so. And anywhere else you want to add some little marks, feel free. Don't go too overboard, but it's certainly not going to hurt to put a few marks and things in here. And then I think what we're going to do is taking our remind myself what it is, dark Naples ochre. We're going to come on some of the darker leaves and we're just going to reinforce where those marks are, because on the darker leaves where it's reflecting the light it actually looks quite light. So it's only the darker ones, and it's only a few. You don't even have to do this. This is me being a bit kind of particular, if you know what I mean. And so I think I'm going to call that done, guys. I think I'm going to call that done. So I'm really happy with that. I mean, you could fiddle all day, but at the end of the day, it's a faded background, so I wouldn't honestly worry too much. I'm going to call this part 1. We're going to come back for part 2, otherwise this video is going to be extremely long. Yeah, we will come back for part 2, which will be our lovely Mr. Hedgehog. Now, so far we have used all but two colours we have used. So, will we be able to do this in 10 colours? I think so. Let me know what you think. I will see you back in part 2. For Mr. Hedgehog. Hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you soon.